ask us questions. All right, cool. So let's kick off with Lightyear. So kicking off with Lightyear, and this is a confusing film from Pixar and Disney. And this is a film that was announced a while back, and I remember that there was once a time when Pixar said nobody's ever going to voice Buzz Lightyear but Tim Allen, who voices Buzz in the Toy Story movies. And then they said, oh, we're going to go and make a film called Lightyear. It's based on Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Chris Evans. And you're like, what? Didn't you just say no one's going to voice this character but Tim Allen? Now, why the heck are we having a version that's voiced by... And when they first announced this, it really, really gave me DC EU universe vibes, because DC don't know what they're doing, and they come up with all these plans, and it doesn't seem like it's joined up, and it just seems like it's all over the blooming shop. And I was really worried about this film, because I was like, I don't see why we're making this film. Pixar was at one point Pixar was the place you would go for the absolute height of storytelling, and everything was tight and everything was original. And then Disney took over, and then all of a sudden they started doing sequels and they started doing spin-offs, and there has been a bit of a drop-off in quality from the Pixar stuff. And this film just sounded lazy. I mean, to me, the original idea of this film sounded lazy. And when this film kicks off, Shaun, there is a thing that's written at the beginning of the film, which I missed because I was going to the film about 3 minutes late. So you tell us, but I know what's at the beginning. So tell us what they put at the beginning of this film to explain the existence of this film.
Well, it's basically at the beginning thing is they're saying this is what the story of Andy's with the Buzz Lightyear. This is what Buzz Lightyear's story is based on. So it's like this was actually a film that was made for the toy of Buzz Lightyear for coming out, or something along them lines.
So,
really.
So that there was, I think it says something about in 1995, a boy Andy got a toy. That toy was based on a film. That action figure was based on a film. This is that film that the action figure was based on.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, James. Much more eloquent reading than I put it. But yeah, that's the gist of it.
That's probably because I haven't watched. I didn't see. I just read it somewhere, so with that, you're like, okay, fine, maybe there's something in this. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised, because everything I was thinking about this film, I was thinking, okay, it doesn't make any sense for it to exist. And it's still arguable as to whether this film should exist. But the story that it tells, which is essentially you have Buzz and his fellow space rangers, they crash land on a planet. And when they're trying to escape from the planet, when they get attacked by stuff, they end up the escape doesn't work, and they end up stuck on the planet. And then this film ends up being a lot deeper than I actually thought it was going to be. And it ended up being, I thought, okay, fine, just gonna give us some sub Star Wars thing of Buzz, he's a space adventure and all that. But
yeah, because it sort of starts off that way, doesn't it, Toes? With the black, and the stars, the black screen, and you think almost like the start of the first Star Wars movie starts off.
Yeah, and then you end up with this story about Buzz, who has crashed. He's crashed on this planet with a ship full of people, and his whole mission is, I need to get these people back home. And then it goes through a whole bunch of what he does to try and get them back home, but it goes to deeper places than I expected a film based on a toy to go. So because it's there's a sequence in it that I have to say is probably it's like a marriage of the sequence at the beginning of Up.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, it's a marriage of the sequence at the beginning of Up with something from Interstellar. And it gave you similar, how you have that short sort of 5-minute bit thing at the beginning of Up, and you're like, oh my god, and you just sort of that's a film in its own, and you end up with all the feels. And in this sequence they have, it's like a montage of stuff that goes on. It ends up being as well not as much as Up, because Up is an all-timer. Up is a classic for that bit. That's just a classic. So this isn't to those levels. But when you still have you get a sense of pathos and a sense of, oh my god, and this is how much that must have mean, and this is what people are sacrificing, this is what the life has been led. And I just thought that was brilliant, and I was like, okay, they are doing something a little bit different here. And I thought I was really enjoying the film. I was enjoying what they were saying about this group of people who are trying to fight their way off this planet, and the way they were going into those people and like going into their lives and going into what happens and what do they do, and are they going to try and set up a new life here, or are they going to try and escape? Which is like some themes that you see in sci-fi, like in Battlestar Galactica even. And it was when the adventure kicks in. When the adventure kicks in, that's when, for me, the film, I'm like, oh, okay, now you ruined it. Because now the adventure has kicked in, because now we're going to have a bad guy, and now the bad guy's going to do this, and there's going to be that, and oh my word. But it was just really, really cool just hanging out with those characters. But now you've moved it on, you're trying to sort of like put the action-adventure elements, which you have to have. But even in there, when the bad guy, because obviously the Buzz Lightyear, his bad guy is Zurg, Emperor Zurg, who shows up as a toy in toy form. But there are revelations about Zurg that you're like, oh, this is way deeper than I thought a kids film was gonna go.
That was a surprise there. Yeah.
It was. I kind of saw it coming. Coming. But especially with what you've known and what they've done with Zurg in the other Toy Story films. But it was still a bit of surprise, it's still a bit of a, dare I say, bold move to do in a film that you expect to be a kids movie. I just thought it was quite cool. But anyway, that's me talking. Shaun, what did you think?
Okay, yeah, for me, this film had elements. It had, but it didn't really. I mean, I wasn't enthralled by it. I wasn't. I mean, there was nods to a few movies which I liked, which you're obviously going to put in a couple of those, but. I found
the right stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea, the concept of him trying to do the experiments to try and get off the planet. I thought that was
when he's trying to get off the planet.
Yeah, that was a great concept, and I like the deceleration idea and things like that, because no one's really come up with stuff like that, is it? You go to hyperspace and then it's sort of put the brakes on, and so I like that idea, and I like, again, you see, it's funny with movies. I thought, this is pretty good. But I must say, I did find the Admiral's daughter really, really annoying. With the group of the thing, she was just like, oh, come on. It was reminded me a bit of Mulan, that bit with the characters there, with the.
Oh, do you mean Moonfall?
Well, and like in Mulan, it's got, I'll make a man of you, and Mulan's got those.
Oh, Mulan!
Little cronies, in the cartoon. It was a bit like that, and. So to some points, I did have a few issues, and again, some of the consistency things. But on the whole, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that bad. As I say, just it wasn't like it didn't flow for me. I found it, in fact, I found it a bit mundane, should we say?
Yeah. I think it doesn't quite justify its existence, but then it doesn't completely wet the bed either.
No,
I think it's enjoyable enough, and and I think within a structure of like the space action adventure, they try and do certain things. There is some bit in there where you go, hang on, that's actually kind of like some sort of hard sci-fi. Where you talk about deceleration rings, and when they talk about getting things, and also, but it is still a kids movie.
It's a kids movie, really. So we can't be too harsh.
Yeah, the timings tell you it's a kids movie, so that's why you have that kid in there, and also, of course, Socks the cat, who is
the saving grace.
Who is a robot companion that Buzz gets given.
He's great, isn't he? We like him.
Yeah, Socks the cat is good.
Socks
the cat. It's like meow 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 meow. I've bought you 5 minutes, but all right, cool. So how many stars would you give Lightyear, Shaun?
I'm just going to give this one a 3. This is a standard 3 for me.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of agreeing today. I would agree with you on that. It's. I think if they had carried on the. I feel like if Zurg had never showed up in this film, this might have been a 4. This might have been a 4 if Zurg had never showed up in this one, because I was thinking this is going places that I wasn't expecting this to go.
I think it was a sort of particular Disney formula, you know what I mean? It was like stock Disney with the idiotic characters, the silly characters. The characters in it you could see were like what Disney had been using for years and years and years.
Yeah,
hence what I was saying about Leah, about Mulan.
And that's where I feel like the influence of Disney on Pixar has not necessarily been a good thing.
Yeah.
Because Pixar had their own formula, but it was fresh enough, and they changed things up. And like, if you look at something like Turning Red, a film like Turning Red, I think Turning Red has more inventiveness in it than this does, and it's and I think that there is a formula, and you can almost sort of feel the Pixar fighting against the formula by putting this in there, putting that in there, and putting one particular scene that's got in the film banned in China, because there's a same-sex relationship in it, and it's like it's but I think it's a 3 if they carried on with the first half.